Hi Aquarius, and welcome to your horoscope for December 2024. Thanks for joining me. My horoscopes are based on the UK time zone, and please watch them in this order: rising sign first, or your rising sign first, then your sun sign, and finally your moon sign. So I'm going to break December down into 4 weeks and pay attention to what the moon is doing, which of your houses it moves through, and when, so you get an idea of what areas of your life you're supported in, and also when you're supported in those areas. Okay, so week 1, Sunday the 1st to Sunday the 8th of December. On the 1st and 2nd, we have the moon in Sagittarius, and that's in your 11th house of hopes and dreams and connections with people like friends and people who exist out there in the public, but in a personal way, right? So it's really likely actually that either today, I'm filming this on the 1st of December, or tomorrow, that you experience some sort of good news as it relates to your relationships with friends. It could even be your romantic relationships, and finally it could even be good news about your work or the future of your career. And that peaks particularly today on the 1st of December because we have a new moon in Sagittarius, so a ton of energy is being pulled in. I made a separate video on the new moon in Sag, so if you'd like more info, check that out. But as an Aquarius, it happens in your 11th, so it's really good news in any of those areas. The moon moves on and goes into Capricorn on the 3rd and 4th, and it sits in your 12th house of spirituality and spiritual strength next to Pallas in Capricorn, and I always interpret that as wisdom. So on the 3rd and 4th, expect something to suddenly make sense to you. And it's not because you're reading books or you're studying it or researching it. I think it's likely to make sense once you wake up one of those 2 mornings and you've either had a dream or something's been integrated and processed so that you are crystal clear around one or more areas of your life that have been complicated lately. On the 5th, 6th, and 7th, the moon goes into Aquarius, so in your sign, and it joins Pluto in Aquarius in your sign. So those 3 days are great for a sense of well-being, communication, making decisions, again, seeing things very clearly. And this is a gradual process, this first week, where things start out a little fuzzy, but good, and get clearer and sharper as the first week goes on. On the 6th of December, we've got Mars, the planet of masculinity and drive and ambition. That goes retrograde until the 23rd of February next year. So the personal planets, when they go retrograde, it's significant, right? Mercury retrograde causes communication and transportation issues, but it also allows you to see things differently. Venus makes it difficult in the area of love or business, particularly starting business when that's retrograde. And Mars retrograde is about ambition and the willingness to have conflict and to be stubborn and to say, I get what I want all the time. When that retrogrades, those tendencies kind of ease off a little bit, and particularly because this Mars is in Leo at the moment, in your 7th house of relationships. If you've had conflict with anybody recently, or you've even had a sense of, why are people suddenly being so contentious with me? Why is there so much conflict in my life where there hasn't been any? Expect that now to really ease off for the next 3 months, basically, until the 23rd of February. On the 7th, we've got Venus. That ingresses into Aquarius. Hooray, it goes into your sign in your 1st house, and it joins Pluto and Aquarius in your 1st house. So that's really good. You know, back when I studied astrology, there was one section that really stuck with me for some reason, or that I'm remembering now. Back in the day with astrology, if you had Venus in the 1st house in your birth chart, it indicated great physical beauty, right? In my experience, it can do that, but it also indicates that the person has great charisma and charm and is very attractive to other people. So once Venus goes into your sign on the 7th, for the rest of the year, you're suddenly going to find, in conjunction with Mars, that the friction eases off and is replaced by the opposite. Suddenly it's harmony and good times and laughter. And I say in conjunction, and what I mean by that is in connection to, right? I don't mean that Mars and Venus are conjunct. they're actually opposed to each other. So it's a face-off between the female principle and the male principle. And I feel that there's a kumbaya moment where you're able to come together with other people and really enjoy their company without the conflict that you may have been experiencing recently. Neptune is an outer planet. It's the higher octave of Venus. And that goes direct until the 4th of July 2025. The retrogrades of the outer planets aren't as significant as the personal ones because they spend about half a year in retrograde. But with Neptune going direct in your second house of money, it's going to be much easier for you to recognize opportunities that come your way and to see which ones have merit and which ones don't. So until next July, it's going to be much harder for you to have the wool pulled over your eyes, or it means that your intuition as it relates to practical matters in your life is heightened and far more reliable. I hear that a lot, by people who find it difficult to trust their own intuition because it's not always 100% right, and it isn't. But for the next, 8 months-ish, 7 months? Yeah. You'll find that your instincts, your gut kind of guides you much more easily, and there's this inner navigation system at work that allows you to avoid potential problems. On the 8th, the moon goes into Pisces, and I know I'm skipping ahead into week 2, but it also stays in Pisces on the 9th, so same thing for both days. But it goes into your second house of money, and it joins Saturn in Pisces and Neptune in Pisces. So these 2 days, the 8th and the 9th of December, are really good at, or good for, looking at your practical circumstances in the driest way possible, my work, my hours, my car, my belongings, and to really meditate on those and to say, what don't I know already that would allow me to make improvements in these areas? Please guide me, please give me specific information that I can integrate and use to improve my circumstances. So if you have a meditation practice, or you do Tai Chi, or you connect through music or swimming, make sure you do it on the 8th and 9th. You'll get really useful info, particularly on the 8th. The moon reaches its second quarter, it's waxing, it's getting bigger on its way to being a full moon on the 15th. So that's the most powerful that energy will be. So in this first 8 days of December, the moon starts in your 11th and it ends up in your 2nd, and that's the very left-hand side of your chart. So it's really about coming back to your authentic self and saying, how can I now let this greater sense that I have for me spill over into my actual world? What changes can I make so that my life suits me better and is more abundant and more joyful and prosperous, and that I have a sense of plenty instead of lack? Week 2, the 9th to the 15th of December. The 9th I mentioned, moon's in Pisces. On the 10th and the 11th, the moon goes into Aries in your 3rd house of communication, and it joins Chiron in Aries. So this is interesting because I think if you tend to point the finger and blame other people for certain things, or there's an unwillingness to take accountability for things going wrong, I think that'll be heightened and most extreme on the 10th and 11th. So willingness to see another person's point of view or to back down is going to be at an all-time low on the 10th and 11th. So again, make sure that you're judging things objectively and on merit rather than feelings of being slighted or disrespected. 12th and 13th of December, the moon goes into Taurus and it joins Uranus in Taurus, and they're both in your 4th house of family and your roots. So that's great for family relationships. If you're spending time with people you're close to, you'll have a really good, solid, harmonious time. And there may even be some sort of unexpected bit of good news or positive surprises that come in. So it's interesting because when the moon's in Aries, 10th and 11th, you're a little closed off, but then the 12th and 13th, something really good does come in, which then disproves or undermines a sense of, I need to have it my way. So just reserve judgment over this 4-day period and just see what comes up. It's likely to go better than planned. 14th and 15th, the moon goes into Gemini and it joins Jupiter in Gemini in your 5th. So now the theme is doing a total 180 because these 2 days are wonderful for love and romance. Good fortune in that area of your life. So if you're single, 14th and 15th are the best days to go on a date and to meet new people. Particularly on the 15th of December, which is when that energy peaks with the full moon in Gemini. I'll make a separate video on that, but for you guys it happens in your 5th house of romance and love, really, in general. Can even be your own family unit that you've created. So if, you know, it's you and the partner and the kids, 2 days as a family unit will be really enjoyable. Also on the 15th, we've got Mercury, the communication planet, going direct. It's been in retrograde since the 25th of November. So if you've had communication or transportation issues, expect those to ease off. But also expect your relationships with other people to take another step up in the right direction and for them to get better and better and better. So it's interesting because the whole month, it's been a gradual slide from relationships being possibly somewhat fraught. And now we're doing a complete 180 and they become marvelous. Marvelous, I love that. Okay, so let's see. The houses the moon goes through in the 2nd week. Starts in the 2nd and ends up in the 5th. So that's really the base of your chart. So it's like a homecoming. It's things are starting to balance out. The pressure's off. Things are as they should be. I can relax a little bit. Week 3, Monday to Sunday, the 16th to the 22nd of December. On the 16th and 17th, the moon's in Cancer. And that's in your 6th house of daily routine and work and the structures of your life. So these are 2 wonderful days for you to practice good self-care and to ask your inner child, what would make you happy today and how can I facilitate that? I want to take care of you. Well done. Things are back on solid terms with other people, but now I just want to take care of myself as well. 17th, 18th, 19th, you're coming out of your shell again. So the one thing I would say with all these massive changes, just be on your toes a little bit in December because things are super changeable for you guys specifically. The good news, you as an air sign can multitask and change course quickly. So it's not likely that you'll be overwhelmed. But the 18th, 19th, and 20th are now again wonderful for relationships, love, relationships with friends, family members. And these 3 days, if you can take off and just have a good time, please do, because you'll have a ton of fun. On the 21st and 22nd, the moon goes into Virgo and it moves into your 8th house of the authorities and communities and institutions and companies. If there's any paperwork that needs doing, you'll find that super, super easy. Virgo is ruled by Mercury, the communication planet, which at this point of the month is now direct. But it's not just that you can do paperwork and do that accurately, it's that you actually enjoy focusing on all these little details. So think of someone doing needlework, right? Well, you have to have really good vision. That kind of detailed work is going to be enjoyable. But also if you're looking for new ways of healing something in your body, and you've been looking at alternative ways of healing something, if you do that research on the 21st and 22nd, you're likely to find something that works. That can be so frustrating, you know, like if you have a medical issue and you go to the doctor and they just, I mean, as an example, right? As an example. But they have one way of doing it. Then often people look for alternatives because it can feel somewhat, anyway, I'm not here to comment on Western medicine, but a lot of people do look at alternatives. And it can be very frustrating because some of the things really do not work and some miraculously often do. There's often no rhyme or reason. So there's an element of chance. So if that's something that's on your to-do list, the odds are stacked in your favor on the 21st and 22nd. The 21st as well, we've got the sun. That enters Capricorn and it goes into your 12th house of spirituality and spiritual strength. And it really allows you to receive inner messages that relate to your physical existence, i.e. your body. And if there is anything that's unresolved or unhealed, or that you're at your wit's end with, you either find that your own intuition or your own psychic abilities or your own prayers are answered, and that you have information that gives you a sense of hope and acceptance and actually healing. Okay, so week 3, the moon started in your 6th house and it ends up in your 8th. Okay, so that's the very right hand side of your chart. So the 3rd week is really about finding what you've been looking for. Ding, 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 and finally, ta-da, it's here. Week 4, Monday to Tuesday, the 23rd to the 31st of December. On the 23rd, 24th, and 25th, the moon's in Libra in your 9th house of education, travel, and the higher realms. 24th is Christmas Eve, 25th is Christmas Day, and Hanukkah begins at sundown. If you're lucky enough to have to travel to see friends or family, and you're able to get outside of your living situation, so you're going from one place to the other, you will love to travel over this 3-day period. If you're spending the holidays by yourself and you have the opportunity to go somewhere that you haven't been before, you'll love that experience. And also, if you're on your own or with other people, or you can't go anywhere else, it's a good idea to kind of explore the realms of imagination through reading or being creative. Ultimately, it's a wonderful time where you're able to have this sense of things are growing and expanding, and I'm excited by what I'm being exposed to. 26th and 27th, we've got the moon going into Scorpio, and that's in your 10th house of work. That's interesting. The moon in Scorpio allows you to really get to the root cause of something. It sits next to Juno in Scorpio, and that is like endless summer. It's like good times. And that's interesting because it's a little random, but the 26th and 27th are days where you can really just enjoy the work that you're doing, or you can really enjoy the process of healing your own body, or you have a real emotional insight as a result of the travel that you've been doing, and you understand something on an emotional level that you didn't before, simply because you've changed the environment. 28th and 29th of December, the moon goes into Sagittarius, and it rejoins Mercury in Sagittarius in your 11th house, and Mercury is now direct. So again, these 2 days are great for meeting new people. It's great for love, romance, friendships, being around others, having a good time, communicating, not being misunderstood, and enjoying the company of others. On the 29th, Chiron, the wounded healer, that goes direct and stays direct until the 30th of July 2025. It stays in Aries until 2027. So like the outer planets, Chiron is an asteroid, and that retrogrades and moves forwards quite a lot, right? So it's not as significant. But with Chiron moving forward, it's likely, similarly to finding an alternative way to heal your body, it's likely that over the next 7 months, you find information that can not only heal your physical body, but can help you come to terms with some sort of emotional pain or wound that you've been carrying around with you. So, like things like cognitive behavioral therapy or EMDR, that's the one with the eyes, right? To trauma release, those kind of things. So if you haven't tried something like that and you feel like you could benefit, again, doing research is really going to pay off and make that personal healing much more accessible. 30th and 31st, we've got the moon in Capricorn, and it goes back into your 12th house of spirituality and strength. Spirituality and spiritual strength. And again, if you're trying to find some sort of wisdom about what you can work on and how you can use your own energy to improve your overall well-being, It will be delivered around this time, particularly on the 30th of December when we have a black moon. And a black moon is when we have the second new moon in a month. And this is a new moon in Capricorn, so it's pulling in all this energy of inner work and outer work, and it's in your 12th house of the ethereal. So it's a perfect combo, the intangible and the tangible. And the combination of the two, talking to each other, allows you to either accomplish some healing in your own body or the structures of your everyday life, or even your work and career if that's not where you want it to be. Okay, so let's see what houses the moon moves through in the last 8 or 9 days of the year. So it starts in your 9th and it ends in your 12th, and that's the 9th house in the 4th quadrant. So it's about transcending your current self by allowing new experiences. So through learning or through spiritual connection or through travel. Key thing is to do something different, unfamiliar, to get a great outcome as a result. So I hope that gives you an idea of what's coming up for you in December. I hope you have a great time. If you'd like a personal reading with me, please get in touch via my website, gregoryscott.com. I use astrology, the tarot, numerology, and my intuition in my personal reading. So if you have any questions about your birth chart, or you want to see what's coming up in 2025, or in love, or in spirituality, or in physical health, please do get in touch for a personal reading. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, please. That really helps the videos show up. I'd be ever so grateful. Subscribe for more videos, and if you think someone you know may like this, then please share it with them. That helps the channel grow as well. So I hope you have a wonderful month. Oh, and finally, I do a daily tarot reading on the channel. Please become a member to watch those. Have a great festive season, and I'll speak to you soon.